So when you use your tractor as a bulldozer, that kind of happens. You take one fork and you push up on a tree, and then you drive the tractor into the tree, and eventually you're going to start bending some stuff. Now this one here is a Titan fork carrier from Amazon, Chinese made, MIG welded. Granted, it's not a bulldozer, but these are the things that happen when you abuse your equipment. Now, so when you look at this, you see those little white dots there here in a second. And those little white dots right there, that is where the weld actually penetrated and made a complete weld. So you see it's very spotty there, even though there's a bead laying in the corner, but it's more or less than caulk. It didn't even burn in through the mill scale of that 3/4 inch thick comb plate in the front there. So it just did whatever it did. The problem with that is people think, oh, it's a good looking bead. You can't really tell much by the weld bead. If your settings are just too low and too cold, then they lay right like caulk on top of it. They didn't burn through the mill scale, they didn't burn through paint, they didn't burn through surface rust. The short circuit MIG is a very shallow penetrating process. I mean, you see it did a number on that 3/8. Granted, it's not a bulldozer, it's not made for it. And see the weld there starting to separate, cracking apart already too. So that's just, it just wasn't welded right. You see the fork itself is not really bent. Having those two together on one side, it shows you they're good. It's just the frame that is a little bit kinked on the bottom there, that comes right out. And then the comb plate on the top that the forks hang in is just mangled. So that needs to go back in place, and it needs to be welded properly. So that's why we're going to pick the right welding consumables to get it done. I know. That's how it is. You got to fix everything yourself. Can you imagine if I call a guy to fix this fucking... so I can go and... Yeah, I'll call you when it's done. Yeah, bye. So the Blue Point 30-inch adjustable wrench is making really short work out of those kind of jobs. You can crank everything down tight, you can bend anything in place. It's absolutely awesome. So here's our weapon of choice. Rock Mount Polaris AAA in 1/8 inch. This is a repair rod. It deals exceptionally well with any sort of mill scale, paint, grease, contamination. 98 psi, 98,000 psi tensile strength. 1/8 inch, a good starting amperage is 120 amps. We're doing 125. Perfect for those kind of repair jobs where you need strength, where you need reliability. So here's a look at the finished product. Everything is in there, nice and flush, no gap. And then right about there, that tooth where the clamp is right now, later on needs a little love tap to sit in flush in line with all the other ones. I decided not to grind the old weld out because it seemed like the penetration into that 1/8 inch wall 3x3 tube was adequate, but then into that 3/8 comb in the front it was not adequate. So we'll see how that works out, running the stick with a deeper penetration right over it. Preparing my straight edge, it's too long. Shortening my straight edge to the proper length, and right there, now you can see it rocks a little bit. That one tooth that needs a love tap still is still a little bit out. So let's go fix this. clean up. You see the slag comes right off. And here's why I like this rod. You see how it just goes in there really nice. It cleans up really nice. It burned right through the paint or the powder coat, whatever was on there. And it just did an outstanding job. And you see the slag over there? Like right there, the pinholes in the slag. That's where it washes all the dirt and contamination out of the weld and puts it right in the slag. Once you chip the slag off, it's gone. Here we go, finishing touches, brush a little bit grease on, move the fork back over there, and then let's check the fit up. Slides nice and easy over the repair spot. Sure, the grease helps, but it's all nice and straight too. And then as you can see here, it appears like the tips of the fork are exactly in the same plane. Now when you look at the repair, it looks like a decent-ish repair, you know, not the prettiest I've ever seen. Now it didn't take me all day to fix this either. And then you look at those forks, absolutely in the same plane. I would say this is a perfect success here. By the way, you see that smoke lingering up there? This is why when you weld stuff like this, maybe you want to wear a respirator. I mean, do as I say, don't do as I do. I wish I could turn the clock back 20 years and do things a little bit different. And then you look at the tips of the forks right there. Absolutely the same height. Everything worked out just great.